Hey, I'm Jeremy Hahn. Welcome to HAUNCON2020. We're doing a special thing right now, and it is the cocktail hour. If you know me, or anything about me, you know that I love making a good drink. Before I do, I'm going to hydrate before I drink. Yeah? Oh, perfect. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a few minutes, and I'm going to make my perfect old fashioned. And we're going to have that, and join me if you'd like. I think here in the Midwest it is 6 o'clock. If, 4 o'clock in LA, but you guys are probably good to go there. It's 7 o'clock in New York, so it's the perfect cocktail hour. So if you want, join me. I'm set up in my studio in my kitchen, which also doubles as my bar. I don't know if you can tell very well. There's a lot of stuff on this table. I'm going to try to not knock anything off, any of these bottles off of my ass. Usually the setup's a bit different, but I needed to do this. So hopefully the framing's okay on this. It might be a little crooked. Once again, if you literally saw this and the setup that I have, it's laughable. But I wanted to share this with you. I appreciate all of you being here. Let's have a drink together. All right. So first off, what we're going to do, I'm going to go down here and I'm going to get one of my nice jiggers. You got a 1 ounce side and a 2 ounce side. But I'm going to start building my old fashioned. So I'm going to do a bit of simple syrup. I've been using, this is a 50-50 maple syrup, Demerara simple syrup recipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bar spoon, and I'm going to go one, and then I'm going to go a bit more than that. I'm going to go like 2 bar spoons. This is a fairly small size bar spoon, so it works okay. After that, I'm going to toss that in there. I make a lot of my own bitters. I like to do that. It's kind of a hobby that I have. I make a house bitters. I make an orange bitters. So I'm going to put some of my orange bitters in here. And generally what I try to do is I try to go 7 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But actually, we're going to go double that. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 drops of orange bitters. Now those are pretty aromatic. You can kind of smell that. It's got a good orangey smell to it. Goes really well on top of that simple syrup, maple syrup combo. And then after that, and I'm going to have to reach behind me because I don't have it out. Maybe I do. Good job losing stuff, Jeremy. This is brilliant. I like to use an aromatic bitters, and when I like my own a lot, but my favorite is actually from Jack Rudy Cocktail Company. They do an aromatic bitters. It's just like the perfect amount of spice. I love it. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to give that a stir. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to add, unfortunately, I've already put my spoon in there, so I'm going to do a Luxardo cherry, if I can actually dig one of these out of here. I really love Luxardo cherries. They are, for me, pretty much the gold standard of cherries. And I like to get a little bit of the juice from that too, so I'm going to go ahead and toss that in there. Set this back. Try not to spill anything. Man, I'm doing a great job so far, right? All right, so I'm going to give that a stir. So now I've got my simple syrup, my bitters, and my cherry in there. It's a very simple drink. It doesn't take a lot. Now I'm going to go in. I'm going to build. Lick your hands, by the way. That's really sanitary, Jeremy. But you know what? I'm here at my house and I wash my damn hands. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to add my bourbon and rye blend. I've been doing a bit of a blend of stuff, so I'm going to go in and And I'm going to do about a half ounce of rye.
He said,
And then I'm going to do, this is Templeton rye. I like Templeton a lot. I was with my good friends Philip Sablick the first time in Chicago when we had Templeton rye. And it is a tasty, it's from Templeton, Iowa. Just a really good rye. Not too spicy, kind of middle of the ground. Had a lot of old fashions with that. The other thing that I'm going to use in this is Buffalo Trace Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Buffalo Trace is really nice. It's kind of become a little hard to get. We're really lucky in Joplin. We can actually get it pretty easily. It runs right at about $20 to $25 a bottle. Very, very affordable, but a damn good bourbon. So if you can get your hands on Buffalo Trace, just use it. It's I actually have started using it in place of like Four Roses for a well whiskey. Tap that. Sorry. It's a great bourbon. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to add just under 2 ounces of that. This is close to a 2.5 ounce drink, which is it's stout, but it's good times. So I've got Buffalo Trace bourbon, my Templeton rye, both in there to get that blend that I like. I've got my bitters, both the aromatic and the orange. I've got a little bit of, and then I'm going to just add some junk ice to it, if I don't drop it all over the floor. There we go, junk ice, and that's just going to cool it down and get it all blended. So I'm giving that all the stirs, and then I'm going to let that sit there just for a minute. I'm going to take my big chunk of ice. I actually do my own big chunks of ice. I like doing it. It's kind of a little bit off, but I kind of also like the shape. It's fairly clear, not the clearest. I just do it in my freezer, and it's pretty good. All right, so there we go. That's a big chunk of ice. Barely fits into that glass. Look at that. All right. So now I'm going to take that and I'm going to peel a bit of orange. Of course, I don't have my peeler handy. I'm going to reach over here and grab it. My just washed peeler, and I'm going to get a nice bit of orange. Okay, I'm going to put that down, and that's a pretty stout thing. So I'm going to set that aside for just a second. Set my bar spoon down.
some sort of nice ice.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, it's actually really easy to make. I think it's not as much of a mystery as people sometimes make it out to be. Big blocks of ice are fun, and they really do a great job with the way that they melt. So I'm going to pour the contents of my cocktail in there, and with that giant chunk of ice, that looks like a hell of a cocktail. Well, it's actually all right. It's not it's not super. Hey, so I dropped my spoon. What do you do when you drop your spoon? We're not going to use the 5 second. We're actually just going to use back to the cocktail pick and get that cherry in there. Okay, so the cherry's back in there. I'm going to take that. I'm going to set that aside. And then I am going to go ahead and I know it's bougie, I know it's fancy stuff, but I like to flame my orange. Also looks cool when you do it, on live. So look at that. Wham! Wham! That's expressing the oils out of the orange, and they fall into your drink. Rub the rim, rub the rim, rub the rim, and drop that nice orange in. Okay? That right there is my signature old fashioned. It is a take on a classic recipe. I don't know if any of you, or many of you know, I do a Patreon blog called Comics and Cocktails, where I actually draw the process of making cocktails in kind of an overhead down view. I have been so busy with work, I'm behind on it, and I feel terrible about that. I'm getting back to it. I'm working new projects up, but I've done about a dozen recipes or so right now. Everything from old fashions to a couple of great Scotch drinks. My gin and tonic based on my brother-in-law's recipe. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy doing it. It's kind of a hobby, a side gig. You should check that out. It's Comics and Cocktails. It's on Patreon. Like I said, I need to update it a little bit more. I'll get to that. So we are at. I'm going to step aside really quick and take care of the technical thing, but then what we're going to do is we are going to do our call-in in just about 5 minutes. Rumor has it that they are ready to go. You know what? Actually, why don't we let's just go ahead and we're gonna do the call-in. I hope this sounds okay. We're gonna hit call, and then speaker, and we'll see how that goes. Hello. Is this Heather Antos?
This is Heather Antos. This is Jeremy Hahn.
This is Jeremy Hahn. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I've had a pretty busy day, but I always have busy days. But this has been fun and different.
That's great. Yeah, I know you saw, but I did check in a little earlier. Saw you working on a commission.
I tried to say all the right things.
I did catch you saying you were up until 5 a.m. working on the final witness. So, take care of yourself. Get some sleep, Jeremy. What are you doing?
I'm super old, and I really shouldn't be doing that, but I do. So I don't know what's my problem, but I drink a lot of these to keep myself going. So that sounds worse than it really is. So Heather, you right now. So I don't know if you saw, but I just made an old fashioned.
Nice.
And it's my signature version. I really love it a lot. But you're joining me in having a cocktail as well, right?
So I don't have a cocktail because I'm not a fancy bartender like you. But I am drinking a nice glass of Cabin Fever whiskey neat.
So Cabin Fever whiskey, that's maple whiskey?
That is maple whiskey.
I know my whiskeys, and I know my so that is some trashy whiskey that I love. I love so much. Cabin Fever maple whiskey. The first time I had it was in Portland, Oregon, with my friends Ken and Tracy, and they whipped it out, and we killed a bottle of that. It's so delicious.
Yeah, no, I'm currently at my boyfriend's right now, and I think he got this as a Christmas gift from his office.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but we busted it out over the holidays, and me being a Michigan girl, I'm obsessed with anything maple.
Right.
And it being a Canadian whiskey, my brethren, it's near and dear and close to my heart. So, yeah.
I love it. Well, thanks for joining me for a drink, and I will wholeheartedly accept and love your wonderful, wonderful maple whiskey. Now I want to go find a bottle of it myself right now. So this has been a good day. We talked about this back and forth, but we were both pretty sad because we were going to get to hang out with the Valiant crew, a bunch of us, and you were going to take me and the group to a really great cocktail bar in Seattle. Is this right?
Yeah, I can't, gosh, I need to look it up. I'll look it up right now. What the bar is, but it is a bar that was recommended to me, and I've never been there.
Right.
But it was recommended to me by a friend who lives there, and it's called Canon, and it has, I think, the most labels in the world.
Oh, really?
At the bar.
Nice.
Either in the world or in America. Either way, it's a lot.
I love it.
Yeah, and supposedly, like, the bartenders there, like, you know, they'll take requests, obviously, but they like to hear what you like and your flavors. Yeah, over 4,000 labels and counting is how many they have.
That's amazing.
It's number 6 on the world's best bars. Yeah, and so the bartenders will, like, you know, oh, I like fruity flavors, or I like tequila, or I like, you know, whiskey or whatever, and they'll create a custom cocktail to your preference on the spot there.
That's fantastic. So,
you know, knowing that you were going to be there, I was like, this is a place I have to take Jeremy.
I was already sad about not being in Emerald City and not being in Seattle. Now I am really sad. The only thing that makes it better is that I am, in fact, getting to have cocktail with you virtually through the wonders of really garbage cell phone service and Facebook.
Yeah, you know, we make do. And here, fingers crossed for next year, right?
Right. One thing that I really wanted to hit on really quickly, and I hope that you're not too embarrassed by this. I wanted to say a very public congratulations. You are now senior editor at Valiant.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's I'm thrilled. You know, I wasn't expecting it. Obviously, it's something, you know, I'm working towards, and we all want to progress and get promoted and things like that. But you know, it was just literally, I just celebrated 5 years of moving to New York, and when I started at Marvel as an assistant editor, so to already make it to senior editor at Valiant, like, so quickly, it's just, I'm overwhelmed and really excited, and, you know, thrilled that Valiant sees whatever it is they see in me.
Well, I mean,
and trust me, you know, with their brand and continuing to grow the universe.
well, I think. Sorry, I was taking a giant gulp of my drink. You know, it's deserved. I mean, there is a reason. There's a reason. We first met while you were at Marvel, and it was at New York Comic Con the first time, and you were coming around.
You offered me whiskey.
That's what I do. Come on, this is a. I feel like that this is a theme of our friendship and working together is just whiskey. Yeah, but you know, you made my show talking about how much you enjoyed the beauty. And basically I offered you whiskey. We talked about the beauty, and we've talked since. And we finally.
No, it's kind of been our theme, you know. Every single show ever since. I mean, the beauty is still one of my favorite books of, you know, the last decade that I recommend to people. And you know, it was so cool to meet you there, and also be offered whiskey. I'm not gonna lie, it's a nice perk.
Right.
But you are, and you know, not to be overly embarrassing to you, but you are always one of the creators that I get so excited to see your name at convention that I'm going to, because, you know, you and I will just sit down and we'll talk comics and we'll talk the industry and we'll talk shop for hours nonstop. You know, you have a lot of great insight in the industry and always very intelligent things to say, and it's a lot of fun.
I think that there's a thing where it's very easy for us to do, where we think of ourselves as young pups in the industry in some ways. You know, you've been in editorial for 5 years. You've drawn your entire life. You make things. You love this industry. You're senior editor at Valiant Comics right now. You are no longer a young pup. I've been in this industry. Yeah, I've been in this industry for 47 years, and it feels like it. I am no longer a young pup. I think that there is a thing about having people that you respect and get to talk to about the state of the industry and what we need to do to make things better. A year ago, you and I, we sat down in Seattle at Emerald City. We talked a lot about your plans and what you were wanting to do with Valiant and what you were building towards. And not long after, probably about 6 months after, you contacted me and said, hey, I've got this thing underway that I want to do. And that became The Final Witness.
Yeah.
I see the path clearly for how we ended up working on this. First off, we both love Ray Fox.
Yeah.
Because he's a genius and a brilliant artist and writer. He's an inspiration for me to realize that I can both write stuff and draw stuff and have a good time with it.
Mm-hmm.
You saw the same, but you brought us together on a perfect project for us. It really brings together our talents in a fantastic way.
Yeah, no, it's funny actually that you mentioned, Final Witness specifically in Seattle, because that is where Ray and I actually first sat down and talked about this project. Like, this project is officially a year old as of this weekend. And I've said it to you before, I've said it to Ray, like, I've been such a huge fan of both of your guys' work my, entire career and my entire time as a fan of comics. And, when I was at Marvel, I was always constantly looking at what's the right project, what's a good fit, because that's a thing that, you guys obviously know as creators, but I think a lot of fans don't always consider is, casting is so, so, so important, not only for the success of the book, but the success of the creator. If an editor miscasts the creator on a project that's not a good fit for them, that can hurt that creator's career. And so you never want to be known as the editor that ruins someone's career, right?
Right.
And so, I've been literally looking for years to work on a project with either one of you. And, when I sat down with Ray a year ago and first pitched this idea of doing a serial killer-esque comic in a superhero world, and he was interested, and then, we were talking about what artists were out there, and you were immediately one of the first names that came to mind, and he jumped on it, and it was just, it feels so serendipitous that I get to work on what is essentially a dream comic of mine with two of my favorite creators that I've been waiting to work with. Like, it's alchemy, it just feels like alchemy to me.
Well, I think there's something really special about it. I think the timing, you initially messaged me and I was like, I don't know, I got a lot I'm doing.
You were finishing The Realm at the time, yeah?
Yeah, well, I was finishing The Realm. I was starting a lot more writing, which is but I also am somebody that is just obsessed with making comics. But more importantly, I'm obsessed with making good comics. And I think, you sent me the pitch, and I was like, I don't have time for this. And then I read it again.
We talked about it. We talked about it for a while. Like, I wasn't sure if I was going to get you for this, and I was getting nervous.
Yeah, I felt badly, because I was like, I want to do this. I want to be involved. I love the team so much, but I was, I've hit this point in my career, and I think that you probably see this a lot, where everything that we say yes to means that we have to say no to 2 or 3 other things.
Absolutely.
And I am incredibly fortunate to be at that place in my career. Mm-hmm. But it's also hard, because I think that I was talking just now with on my panel with Chris Mitten. I love that I'm doing panels and cocktail hours. All this is ridiculous. But I was talking with my panel with Chris Mitten about working with people that you care about, working with people that you love them as creators and what they bring to the industry. And he's a prime example of that. But I think that working with this team on Final Witness was really an opportunity for me to join up with people that I think are really bringing something and adding to something in a time when we have a glut of comics and, you know, Valiant's doing exciting things. I'm proud to be working on this book. I think it's a good choice right now.
I think so too, and that, you know, obviously I'm biased, but no, truly, I think, you know, even just as a fan, because I feel so giddy when I get a new script in for Ray, which, by the way, expect the last script in your inbox probably next week.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but like I get so giddy reading those scripts because he is just so good at this genre, at thriller and mystery, and, you know, has created such unbelievably well-rounded characters. Like these, you know, David Carson, Nick Miller, Hannah Gray in this book are just like, I feel like they're more human than like some people I know in real life.
Right.
And, you know, your storytelling on this book is just absolutely incredible. Like one of my favorite pages from issue 1 is that page. I think it's either page 2 or 3. It's, you know, all the people hearing about the Final Witness on like the news and the radio and all those things, and like it's, you know, it's deceptively simple. You know, at a quick glance, it's just a classic 6-panel grid or 8-panel grid, but the detail and the world building and the character you were able to capture in that is just so visceral, and I get so excited every single page you turn in. Like even if it's just like, oh, it's a page of talking heads. Like no, there's so much in it and so much storytelling, and it's just, y'all are such a perfect team on this book. You're the best.
Well, thank you. I that means the world to me. You know, one of the things about this that makes it so special for me is really, and I think this shouldn't be a rarity, but I think it kind of is. The entire team listens, and we have real conversations. It started with Ray. I noticed that when we were working on Constantine together, we were at a DC breakfast, and I posed this question that, like, John Constantine, if he had a doppelganger, like another version of himself, he would probably make out with himself, because that's Constantine. And Ray was like, I thought about the same thing. And we ran with that, and it ended up being such a poignant moment in the book. And I feel like there have been several times in The Final Witness where I've had a thought about character, and the entire team, you and David and editorial and Ray, have been like, nope, that's in. That's like you immediately back me up on it. I really wanted to go for diversity of cast. That was incredibly important to me. And Ray writes a script where it's just like he writes, you know, Hannah Gray, you know, and like, but like it's just he allows me to build out character, and that's incredibly important to me. I love that. I love what he does there. 1 second, I don't mean to interrupt our conversation, but do we have any questions that need answered, E?
Not really.
Okay. If there are any, just raise a finger and we'll answer those questions. Especially if there's questions that involve both Heather and I, you know, because that's important. But taking it back to Ray and this process, you know, it was very important to me to have the cast that we have, and I think that one of the moments that really, like, I was like, this is why I'm working with you guys right now, was forgive me, what's the coroner's name?
Oh God, it's Abigail something, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
Well, it's Abigail something now.
Yeah. So originally
I can't remember. Yeah.
the coroner started out as a male character, and it was very important to me to have, whether you look at it from the Bechdel test or just because it needs to happen, I wanted two women talking together, and so the coroner became a woman, and like everybody involved was like, yes, absolutely, that needs to be in there, and it was so easy and so supported, and I love that, like, we as a group tell better stories because we give a shit. And that matters to me. I think I just used my PG-13 rating.
For sure. And I think, too, like, one of the things that is so important, especially on something like The Final Witness, where we're doing, like, something that is just so new for the Valiant universe, but is so clear within our team, is that we are all 100% on the same page. And that goes along with what you're saying. It's like we all know exactly what the goals of this book are.
Right.
We all know exactly, like, the arc and the story and, like, what is important thematically with this book. And so it just, it's great. 'Cause, as you said, it makes communication and collaboration super, super easy. But, like, that's also a thing that I think is so important in comics in general, and you see this a lot on the creator-owned side, but during my experience at Marvel, unfortunately, I didn't see this a lot, and it made me really sad, is, comics are a team sport, as I say. It's a group project, it's collaboration, where everyone's voice needs to be heard, and they need to be heard in the same conversation. And that's why I think it's so important that every creator is involved in the conversations. Like, even when character designs are going on, like, it's so important that Nick as a colorist is involved, and I think even Clayton as the letterer is involved, because that way everyone, if they have an idea or if they have an opinion, they can speak up and be a part of this team, because, we're not all monkeys on an assembly line. That's not what creating comics is.
Right.
At least it's not what it should be.
Right.
And I think that the stronger the comic, it's because of a clear creative collaboration, like, spirit.
Oh, so much. Let's actually take a minute, a second, to talk about Clayton and Nick Filardi. Like, we put together kind of a dream team on this book. How the hell did that happen?
I paid everyone a lot of money.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. You plied us with possible ventures out to fancy bars.
Everyone's got their own baby penguin.
Right.
No, I think, one of the coolest things, just to give Nick a little shout out right now. I know Nick Filardi and you have been working together as a team for a long, long time, and you all do great work together. But one of the coolest things that Nick did, and I have never, ever had a colorist do this before, is before he colored any of this book, before he colored the preview pages, before he colored your cover, before he colored anything, he called me up and we sat down and had a conversation about what I was envisioning as the editor. And I'm sure he does this with you, obviously, as the artist on the book. And I'm sure this is a thing that colorists do with artists on other books as well. But I, as an editor, have never had this experience with a colorist, having this conversation. And we talked about, what I envisioned, and I sent him a little, like, mood board of what I was thinking of color palette wise. And when he turned in those pages, I mean, as you saw, we had minimal notes. He nailed it, absolutely nailed it. And it was just, I don't know, he's on top of his game, and it's fantastic.
Well, I think there's a thing that happened, and I'm not asking for dirt, so this is not where I'm going, but I think there's that thing that happened a few years ago where it was like the team doesn't communicate. And I think that was really bad for comics. I think that we have space phones. We have these lovely things that we talk to each other on in a hi-fi or lo-fi fashion. I can literally FaceTime Nick or screen share or anything immediately. He can show me something he's working on in process. Why don't we let people do that? And I think for a little while there was this weird thing that like they were like, no, everything has to go through editorial. That's not the case here. You literally are like, talk about stuff. Run, like, hey, mention to me what you're planning, but like literally, Ray, talk to Jeremy. Jeremy, talk to Nick. Nick, like, hey, like Clayton is as important in this process for the look and feel of this book as any of the others of us are. And that's an incredibly special thing. That's something that you don't see. And I mean, like, don't screw this up. Please don't screw this up. But like this process of working with Valiant on this thing is as akin to creator-owned comics as I've ever seen. And that's amazing.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I mean, like, it's my editorial philosophy, and I know everyone has their own, and for good reason. We all work in an environment that we feel suits us best. But as I said, for me, I view comics as a team sport, and I view editorial not as the coach, but as the team captain. I'm in the trenches with you, and I'm calling shots as I see them.
Right.
Giving direction on the field, but that doesn't mean I'm going to steal the ball from you. That doesn't mean I'm going to tell you you can or can't do something.
Right.
Like for me as an editor, I hired you, Jeremy Hahn, because I want you to do what you do as Jeremy Hahn. Same with Nick, same with Clayton. I'm not going to tell you how to do your job. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here because I want you to bring to the table what it is you bring to the table. And that goes with any creator I work with. I don't hire someone because I want them to be a carbon copy, monkey see, monkey do.
Right.
That is how you create bad art.
Right. No, absolutely. So I have taken enough of your time. Can I ask one more question and then we call it an evening?
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm gonna do a hard one. You gotta be ready. You ready?
Okay.
Okay. Everybody's curious what the big thing about this book is. I have gotten 175 questions from people that are either new to Valiant and excited as hell, or die-hard Valiant fans. We're introducing something with this book that both is new reader friendly, and at the same time something that is going to impact the Valiant universe in a big way. How ready for the big way should people be about Final Witness? Yes. I love asking.
All the ready. They should be all the ready. No, as you said, like it is perfect for new readers because it's a new character, it's a new genre, it's a new story for Valiant. But what I will drop here, and let's just pray that my marketing team isn't listening, is that it's the fans have asked for a long time for this character, for one of our more unknown and designed characters to come back, and this book is laying the roots for that.
I keep trying to say without saying, this is a big deal. Something's going to come of this. You're going to shit your pants.
Yeah.
That's really That's really what I'm trying to build to. I'm
telling you, Jeremy, just wait until you get this last script next week.
I love it, and I love that. I love that we, Heather. I owe this to you. I owe this to Ray. I owe this to the valiant gods that we are getting to make something that is fun comics. Fun comics don't always get to happen, and they are happening here, and I thank you for that.
Well, I thank you for being a part of it and for having me on this call. This was a lot of fun.
My friend, cheers. You're wonderful. Thank you so much. And we'll talk very soon, I'm sure.
Of course. I will see you on the interwebs, my friend.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. So, hey, that was Heather Arantos, and she is the best. Just the best. She works hard. She appreciates great things, and she likes a good drink. Even if it is trashy maple whiskey, which I'm going to say, go find a bottle of Cabin Fever. Cabin Fever, yes. And give it a go. If you like maple, the flavor of it, it's fantastic. E, I want to ask you really quick, do we have any questions that we need to answer? Can you tell me from the feed? Sorry, just to be clear, this is at a weird angle. Basically, my iPad is against a wall, but, I want to be able to answer.
Someone said, when can I draw a Valiant book? When
can you draw a Valiant book? You know what? Work hard. Put the work in. Give me one second. I'm going to do a thing. I'm going to step right over here. And I'm going to get my phone back. So we've got about 14 minutes before we're done with cocktail hour. I want to take a minute and talk about making things. There's a lot of long hours that go into making comics. We are people of all the genders that spend time and energy making these things that you enjoy. I love seeing new creators come in. I love seeing I think about Steve Orlando, actually. I was thinking about him the other day. He just got a new big Marvel gig. We used to talk on the regular at shows about new projects, new stories that he was working on. And that dude has become a brilliant voice for comics. You can too. I've met people that 10 years ago were showing me their portfolios at conventions and are now doing Marvel and DC books. Do the work. Put in the time. Do the thing. It takes a while. And I think that making comics isn't particularly easy. But with enough love and focus and time, you can do it too. My son right now, he's 15 years old, and he's in high school, and he draws the gorillas constantly. And I watch him, every drawing that he does, he gets a little bit better. And I have people that come up to me at shows, and they may come up at New York Comic Con one year and show me 5 pages. And then the next year, they're like, hey, I did those 5 pages, but I also did all of this. And you see a generational leap in creativity. So I want to encourage you, if you want to draw for Valiant or any company, keep drawing. Put your work out there. Show people what you can do. You can kick all kinds of ass. You can do special things. I think back to my time getting in. I felt like a new kid. I hoped that I could maybe impress upon somebody enough that I could draw these things. And now I write and draw comic books every single day of my life, and that's a very special thing. Anything else?
Someone said, what projects are you working on currently?
Currently, I'm working on The Final Witness for Valiant, which I'm drawing, and Ray Fox is writing, and it's fantastic. I am working on The Red Mother, which I'm writing and doing covers for. Danny Luckert is doing interior art, and he is brilliant. I am working on a undisclosed project with Chris Benton. It's a sci-fi project. We have not announced the company nor the delivery system on that. No name yet. It's going to be great. It's sci-fi, fantasy, a little bit of horror in there, kind of fun. We'll announce that by San Diego. And a couple of other things that are still somewhat nebulous. I've got a thing in that if I get to do with the person that I want to work with on it, we're going to have a hell of a lot of fun and maybe tell some really good comics. I am working on more Realm, and we still have 2 issues of content for the Beauty that we're working on. We really want to and need to finish those. We're in a position with both the Realm and the Beauty where we need to make sure that the people working on them are taken care of, and that's very important to us. It's not easy. You can look around comics and around the world and see a lot of people struggling right now, and it's hard, and I think it's very easy to assume that things are just easy and that there's not people sacrificing daily to make things. People are sacrificing to make the things that you enjoy. They love the things you enjoy. And we appreciate you and appreciate the support you give. Anything else?
It says, how about writing for comics? Same advice?
Same advice. There's a friend of mine, Alex Grecian, is a brilliant writer. He actually started in comics doing a book called Proof. And then my wonderful, goofy friend Alex became a New York Times best-selling author writing novels, doing a book called The Yard, which became a quadrilogy? Is that what it's called? I don't know. He started writing these novels, but he gave me the best piece of advice I think I've ever heard. And I think he gives it out pretty freely, so I'm going to share it with you. Make the thing and then sell the thing. If you write, you're a writer. If you draw, you're an artist. Don't ask for permission. Don't wait on somebody else to tell you that you can do a thing. If you write, you're a writer. If you're an artist, you're an artist. Very, very clear. Very, very simple. Do the work. It takes time. I would really suggest, as for writing, read On Writing by Stephen King. It's silly. It's very, very simple. It's a little conversational. He's not going to tell you how to be better. He's going to tell you how to accept yourself and understand that you're going to sit there and write something and somebody's going to be like, meh, that's not going to work. I had that happen for a long time. The greatest gift that I gave myself was understanding that I'm a writer. I tell stories. I told stories my entire life. I stopped apologizing for also being somebody that draws stuff. Make what you want the way you want to make it. The world will be better for it. We have opportunities every single day for telling stories. Tell stories on Instagram. Tell stories in script. Tell us, if you want to write a pitch for a TV show, write a pitch for a TV show. It's all part of building towards a thing. I talked about, Steve Orlando earlier. Now, aside from being really, really fit, he's also writing stuff for DC and Marvel that's fantastic and has been for a long time. He's a guy that I met that was writing indie books really, really well. But now he's writing some books for Marvel that, all of us want to draw. Tell your story the way you want to, the way you can, and it'll be good. Eventually. Be patient with yourself. Believe in yourself. Nobody's going to stop you. Anything else? We got anything else? I know we're running down on time.
Yeah. Someone asked if you could do a Friday the 13th movie ranking.
Hey, is that Chris? Is that person Chris?
It is.
It is. Chris, you're a horrible human being. Look, here's the deal. The remake is the best. Can you check and see if you responded that the remake is the best?
Yeah.
Followed by Freddy vs. Jason. He's just going to be screaming right now into the darkness.
Probably.
Yeah. I'm going to mess this up. What's the... 2 is my favorite. Kinda. I have so much love for... Is it 3 the Final Friday?
He said no.
Is 3 the Final Friday?
It's okay.
Today's Friday the 13th. My good buddy Chris, who is one of my favorite people, wants me to be playing Friday the 13th because it's Friday the 13th. Mm-hmm. I should be. I'm actually going to, you know what? Later tonight, I'm going to watch Friday the 13th with my 15-year-old because he needs to see it. But I think 2 is really fantastic. I have so much love for 3, which I think is the Final Friday, with Corey Feldman when he's young. I really love that one. 4, I think it is, where it takes place in the kind of halfway house for kids, where it's not Jason. I love that so much. Maybe I think I know why. Maybe Chris does. But, that's a great one. There's a lot of really fantastic... 4. Yeah, okay. So there's a lot of fantastic Friday the 13th movies. I want to see more of them. I miss Jason. Jason scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. Now he's one of my favorites. Okay, look, here's the deal, Chris. You've inspired me. I'm probably going to have dinner, and then I'm going to start a complete, because I have the collected edition of all the Friday the 13th movies. I'm going to watch them.
He said
probably tonight. Except for the Jared Padalecki one, because who gives a shit about that one?
He said 4 is the Final Friday, 5 is Fake Jason Roy.
Fake Jason Roy. Okay. 2, 4, 5. That's right, because 3 is the one that takes place on the farm, and it's kind of meh. It's like a redo of 2 in a weird way. And Jason Goes to Hell is kind of fun. I don't know. It's, So anyway, thank you for joining me for Cocktail Hour. Chris, your wife is messaging me saying that you're ridiculous. I'm just throwing that out there. Thanks so much. I might do one more drawing live stream tonight, but this is pretty much a wrap on day 1 of HAUNCON2020. Thank you so much. Seriously. I was down in the dumps because I was missing out on Seattle this week. Even more down in the dumps because my local show, Planet Comic Con, got postponed. I'm at my house. I'm drinking a bit of Buffalo Trace bourbon. And I'm talking to you guys about comics. Thank you. I appreciate you. Every single one. We will talk more soon. Have a wonderful day.